Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the first 2018 edition of What's Hot with Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today is Tuesday, January the 9th. Can you believe it? Another new year. So we've got a brief program for you today. We're actually going to focus on just one release, and it's actually not a 2018 release. It was released in around mid-2017, but sometimes, you know, when the new year starts, we're generally kind of playing catch-up on some of the things that we missed in the previous year. This one in particular I wanted to give its own show because it's actually a very, very cool album that I'm digging quite a lot, and I'm sure some of you will as well if you don't already have it. So, you know, the great thing about having this Sea of Tranquility gig is being able to talk about like archival releases, and in my case, I really love like classic live albums from the day. So this particular one that I'm going to talk about, you might already be guessing by the shirt that I'm wearing, is from Frank Zappa, and it's the Halloween 77 3 CD box set. So a little bit of history. So Frank Zappa and his various bands would make a habit every year, for many years, of playing the Palladium Theater in New York City usually for the whole Halloween weekend. So in 1977, that of course was the case once again. And Frank and his band at the time, okay, so he had different lineups, you know, quite often. Particular lineup for 1977, and specifically for this run of shows, was Zappa on guitar and vocals, Adrian Belew on guitar and vocals. Adrian Belew, pretty much an unknown at the time. This was before he joined King Crimson. Tommy Mars and Peter Wolf on keyboards. Ed Mann on percussion, Patrick O'Hearn on bass and vocals, and the great and very young at the time Terry Bozzio on drums and vocals. So, you know, as live albums go, this is pretty damn good. You know, Zappa's had a lot of great live albums over the years, and a lot of great lineups. And, you know, for my money, the best Zappa band was no doubt the band from a few years earlier than this, with George Duke and Ruth Underwood and company. That, of course, you know, One Size Fits All and Apostrophe and the classic Rock Scene Elsewhere live album. But, you know, ranking up pretty high, if not number 2 or 3, is probably this short-lived band. Really, really great stuff, you know, and it's arguable whether you think, you know, maybe the band that came right after it, that of course played in New York the following year, which saw, you know, Belew was no longer in the band, then Eddie Jobson was on keyboards at the time, a horn section, you know, a little bit different, but still really, really good. So, you know, those 3 lineups that I just kind of discussed there are probably amongst most Zappa aficionados rank pretty high as far as the best Frank Zappa musicians lineups go. Right. So anyway, so what about this album? So this just came out, like I said, in 2017. Now there is a much more complete. So basically, what happened is that particular year in 1977, Zappa and company played. First 2 days, I think it was a 4-day run, I believe. First 2 days, they would play 2 3-hour shows per day. Okay, then on Halloween night, they played 1 3-hour show, and I think they played the night after, or maybe it was only 3 nights. Anyway. That's a lot of playing for a bunch of musicians. You know, there's a reason why over the years they said that the most demanding outfit in all of rock was Frank Zappa's band. Not only did you have to have chops of doom, not only did you have to, you know, in most cases, you had to learn how to read pretty demanding sheet music, right? But you had to have some serious chops, regardless of whether you played, you know, bass or keyboards or percussion or horns or guitar, what have you. You had to know your shit. And Frank ran a pretty tight ship. And, you know, what's interesting here in the booklet is you've got a nice essay from Adrian Belew that was just written for this release. And he talks a lot about how demanding it was and how serious it was. And how he really, you know, he did not know how to read music, and he really had to buckle down and spend a lot of time with Frank in his house to learn all this demanding material. And you're talking 3 hours worth of stuff here, right? So again, this came out in 2 releases last year. One was available on a flash drive, in a box set flash drive with, I think, a mask and Halloween mask and all sorts of other zany shit. And the flash drive actually contained all the music from every show in this whole run that weekend. This particular 3 CD set, if you don't want all that, you don't want a live album on a flash drive, right? If you want to have the actual CD, this is a 3-disc set that chronicles the entire Halloween night show on 3 CDs. There are a couple bonus tracks, which is pretty cool. But basically, you get everything here, so there's no repeated material at all, which is kind of nice. Although you do get a different variation on the black page towards the end as one of the bonus tracks. But otherwise, 3 discs, killer stuff. I mean, at the time, Zappa was just kind of moving away from that jazz fusion period of the early mid-70s, still incorporating some of that, but going more for a rock tone, starting to do a lot more vocal material, material with vocals, social commentary, that sort of thing. There's some really funny stuff on here. So, of course, you get a lot of the things you'd expect. The Torture Never Stops, Peaches and Regalia, which is great. What else? Pound for a Brown. What else we got here? Bobby Brown Goes Down. A lot of really, really cool stuff. Conehead. What else? Big Leg Emma. Disco Boy. Lather. What else? Envelope. Wild Love, which is like 20 minutes long and has a mercurial Zappa guitar solo. Just ridiculously good. You really should look forward to that. A Very Fun Titties and Beer. Of course, you got to have that. Where he does this kind of like vocal rap thing with Terry Bozzio, who plays the devil. What else? The Black Page, Scorching, Jones Crusher, Broken Hearts Are for Assholes. On Disc 3, it really heats up on Disc 3. So you got Punky's Whips, of course, the song all about Punky Meadows from Angel. A lot of fun. Great Zappa guitar solo on that one as well. You got various audience participation things, which is kind of fun. What else? Dynamo Hum, Camarillo Brillo, a great Muffin Man with more rampaging guitar work. San Bernardino, and a 9-minute Black Napkins, with again features some great instrumental interplay by the band. For bonus, you've got a pretty cool King Kong. And what else here? A special treat tonight. Yeah, and some more audience participation. Not a lot of bonus stuff, but at least you get a couple things to round out the set. It's very cool. It comes in this like kind of digipack thing, or it's not. It's not really a digipack. It's kind of like a gatefold. You got to be careful with this because it's all made out of cardboard, so the CDs kind of slide in here. So you got to be really careful you don't rip anything. Just give you a little, of course, the normal wacky Zappa stuff there, right? With this part of our show, ladies and gentlemen, because what they do, you can hear a little bit of it in the background. Okay, some cool photos of the ticket stubs. There's the back. There's the front. And then, you got this little booklet, which has some photographs, but it's mainly for, there's Adrian, who writes the essay. It's mainly the essay. A couple rehearsal photos. Thomas does things with his hands. Okay. Sound quality is spectacular. It doesn't get much better than this. It's amazing to think of how much recorded live stuff is in the Zappa archives. It's out of control, and they've released. If you go, I've got, you see this big wall of doom behind me, right? So I've got all the way at the bottom. It's all alphabetical. At the bottom shelf, all the way down there, I have an entire section of Frank Zappa CDs, and that's most of the studio stuff. A ton of live stuff, and I don't even have it all. And if I continue to go out and get more, I'm going to need another shelf because there's just so much out there that I don't even have. And it's all great. we've got the expanded Roxy set coming out, I believe, in February. Of course, I'm going to be getting that. I'll do a separate show on that. So this is great. This is great stuff. Some of you may be asking yourselves, God, do I need another Zappa live album? Well, the great thing about this, it's a different lineup than probably some of the other ones you have. Okay, if you've got the Zappa New York live set, which came out a year later, totally different lineup. Some similar tunes, some different. Here you got the whole 3-hour show, plus some bonus stuff. So I think it's worth it. Like I said, the sound is great. It's just fantastic, and I don't know. I just, he was Frank Zappa was one of the musical geniuses of the last, 40, 50 years. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Music's not for everybody. It's very eclectic. It's a little weird. I was actually listening to this morning while my wife was getting ready to go to work, and she was hearing me humming and singing one of the songs, and she's like, "What are you listening to?" "It's Frank Zappa, hon." She goes, "That's pretty strange." So not everybody gets it, but that's okay. I think Zappa had a core group of fans that always really understood and appreciated what he did. I'm one of them, and I just never get tired of his music. As eclectic and strange as it may be at times, it's still very, very cool. So anyway, so that's it for today. So there's your homework for today, is to go out and get yourself a copy of Zappa Halloween 77. Enjoy it, digest it, love it, all that stuff. So till next time, I am Pete Pardo for Sea of Tranquility. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube. We've got some stuff coming up in the very near future. You guys seem to be liking the band retrospective, so we've got some in the works for Sabbath, for Dio, for Iron Maiden. I'm going to do a Deep Purple one. If there's others you want to see, let me know. We've got some new product stuff coming up over the next few weeks. I'll give you a little preview of something I'm going to talk about real soon. It might even get its own show. Here's another one that we missed out in late 2017, so I'm going to be covering that one as well coming up. So till then, take care. Have a great rest of the week. Make sure to investigate this new music that I'm talking about here, but don't forget the classics. Take care, everybody.